Is America turning its greatest weapon inward? For nearly 40 years, President Donald Trump has praised tariffs as the secret to American strength. But in his second term, that beautiful word has become a thunderclap, echoing fear through markets, households, and the heartland. Tonight we ask, are Trump's tariffs collapsing the U.S. from within? They were supposed to save American jobs. Instead, for many, life has turned upside down. Just ask the factory worker who went from 5 days' work to barely one. Ask the business owner who once paid $50,000 for essential parts, only to see that bill shoot to $84,000 overnight. Or the family farmer who now plants just half a crop, trapped in a new world where certainty has vanished. April 2, 2025, Liberation Day. President Trump, on live TV, flanked by steel and auto workers, unveils a tariff shockwave. Over 180 nations and territories, tariffs ranging from 10% to 50%. The message, America first, whatever the cost. Within hours, markets imploded, investment froze, America's partners were stunned. Even Australia, a loyal ally, was blindsided. Despite a free trade deal and a U.S. trade surplus, it landed on the tariff list. Wall Street panicked. Long-standing rules were torn up. Even the president's own advisors started to worry. Was this boldness or self-inflicted chaos? Behind closed White House doors, policy was crafted less like legislation, more like royal decree. The tariffic architect, Peter Navarro, the iconoclastic jail-seasoned trade advisor, defending tariffs as economic salvation. Reciprocal tariffs, that's the only path to American greatness. But it was Trump's top finance chiefs, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who pulled the emergency brake. With financial panic brewing, they persuaded Trump to pause, just as the bond market signaled an economic cliff edge. The result? Tariffs instantly dialed back for 90 days, but the air was thick with uncertainty. Businesses everywhere asked, are we still safe, or is the next shock just one tweet away? For hundreds of thousands of small businesses, these tariffs weren't policy, they were existential threats. From toy manufacturers scrambling to flee China to the 80% of toys for U.S. shelves suddenly at risk, the scramble was on. For many, shifting supply chains would take months, even years. For some, it was just too late. Molson heart. Every day now, I wake up, check messages from China, Vietnam, Thailand, trying to save what I can. It's exhausting. We've put production on pause, inventories running out, no one knows what's next. Business confidence plummeted. Money grew tight as tariffs siphoned funds from every importer. Meanwhile, American farming communities, decimated by lost export markets, faced ruin. In North Carolina and across the Midwest, soybeans once destined for China now rot in silos. Farmers like John Ash, whose families have tilled the land for generations, see the writing on the wall. I'm planting just half this year. It's too risky. If China moves on, we may never win them back. The pain is real. Lost jobs, dried up orders, and entire towns in limbo. Yet among many Trump voters, hope lingers. It'll hurt for now, but it'll be worth it when the jobs come back, one says at a local fair. But will those jobs ever return? Economists warn, for every new plant, several old ones may shutter. In May alone, manufacturing shed 8,000 jobs. This isn't revival, it's retreat, one expert warns. The policy divides the nation. Industry titans like Dan DeMoe of Nucor praise the necessary pain, likening it to chemotherapy. It'll be hard, but it's the cure. Economists like Warwick McKibben counter, modeling is clear. Output falls, jobs vanish, prices go up, and the real structural problems remain unaddressed. The numbers? Manufacturing employment down 5 to 10%, cost of living up 1.5%, and lower-income Americans hit hardest. As the tariff war escalates, America's supply lines sputter. Mark Nevis, a trucker with decades of experience, now works half his old hours. The ports are empty. Everyone's hurting. Even Trump seemed indifferent, suggesting slower ports are a win. Meanwhile, the CEOs of Walmart and Target sound the alarm. If this goes on, shelves will be bare. Sensing the heat, Trump pauses the harshest tariffs, but uncertainty reigns. We're still underwater, says a manufacturer. One wrong move and we're out of business. Trump's tariffs have done what politicians fear most. They've made everything more expensive, hitting ordinary Americans hardest. Coffee, bananas, skyrocketing prices, sometimes on products the US doesn't even grow. The new tariff economy seeps from Wall Street to Main Street, sparing no one. Even the Trump Cafe must raise prices. Tariffs are a tax on working Americans, warns a trade economist. The promise was lower cost of living. Now life costs more. As tariffs take center stage, questions swirl about the integrity of the new system. Critics point to expedited luxury real estate deals linked to Trump's family in countries suddenly hit or spared by tariffs. Exclusive clubs for CEOs spring up in D.C., offering access to the administration. Democrats warn of invitation to corruption, and impeachment whispers grow louder. It's not just about economics. US allies from Australia to Europe find themselves targeted. Some adapt, some retaliate, but trust is eroding fast. Meanwhile, in Asia, China strikes back, raising tariffs to 125%, restricting key resources like rare earth metals and signaling that the war will not end soon. China has the upper hand for now. They don't need re-election, and they can plan far into the future. America is at a disadvantage in this slow-burning duel. This is not just a trade war, it's a pivot point in global power. As the world fragments, new alliances and rivalries ignite. Economic pain is just the beginning. The risk of a larger conflict grows. If trade war tips over into geopolitics, the real danger begins, warns a former White House advisor. Now, as the 90-day truce ticks down, America stands at a crossroads. Trump's base calls this four-dimensional chess, a test of will, a bid for greatness. Critics see chaos and a leader making it up as he goes along. It's a religion, not a policy, says a business owner. We don't need faith, we need a plan. So, are Trump's tariffs restoring America's might or hollowing it out from within? Is this new brave world remaking the country or unraveling the dream? One thing's certain, as tariffs ricochet through every corner of the economy, the cost of protectionism is no longer just dollars and cents. It's the future itself, and it's on the line.